Hello there, welcome to today's Daily Dominion, which is of course our base set board for the week. We have base plus prosperity. There's some stuff going on here. I'm not totally sure how we're going to want to do this though. It'll be a little interesting, I think. Because there's certainly some stuff to build. I mean, I don't think the pure money stuff is that fast, but there's certainly, as long as you have some of the draw and like good stuff here, you can go through the provinces relatively quickly. And there's totally a world where you can get to a point of playing a lot of monuments as well. And so that should help a bit combating something going for provinces more rapidly. To that end, we're going to open chapel for sure, and then either silver or monument. I got to figure that out now. The whole thing with doing silver is that basically you, I guess we could open workshop as well. I kind of almost prefer at the start here to just buy the fours. Anything you open here, if it collides with chapel, is going to be basically not played. It's just going to not be played. Maybe the play is the workshop. If they don't collide, that's pretty nice. I'll try it. It looks like they're pretty likely to collide. So we get the bad reshuffle. But we do hit 4 at least on our hand. We did bottom deck two estates, which here is actually pretty bad, but in general wouldn't have been so terrible. So they already have a horde, which is not good for our chances. And if we don't draw the chapel here, we're also in a pretty bad spot. So we've missed 2. Unfortunately, we've already missed 2 buys here, and we've yet to trash an estate. We will eventually get to do that, but who knows how long it's going to be. So this is kind of nightmare times right now. That's just the world we're living in, though. I probably shouldn't have trashed. Oh, good. I do still have a copper. Okay. That's nice. What a horrific first couple reshuffles. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a world where we get the, I guess we still just do them. Okay. So this could, like I said, this could go quite badly. But we are at least scoring some points here. Which is worth a little tiny bit. This could either be lab or library. Because from now, just a lab. Both are pretty similar right now. Both let us do a gain and play on a monument here. 7 doesn't do anything. So we could get a GM now, but we don't need the buy. Frankly. So it's a question of whether the money is of value to us. I think we need to just keep the draw going for now. Try to play the I guess the one nice thing is that they did, I believe, bottom deck this stuff, which is okay. Although they got it in before the shuffle, so that it actually isn't really like bottom decking it, but whatever. We are playing now 4 monuments a turn. It's a good amount of monuments to be playing a turn. They're playing some monuments a turn, which is depressing. The real depressing thing is that they aren't buying duchies, that they're buying labs, which is actually what they should be buying. And I wish they weren't, but okay. But look at how close we are in points still. So that's very good. We have a spare. I'm just gonna double lab here, which again feels maybe a little weird. But okay, now they take the duchy. So like now we're gonna make up. If we draw, we're gonna make up like 3 points here. Okay, so we're all right. We're not. We'll be fine. It was an awful reshuffle at the start, but this is totally fine. Their score is pretty limited. If we draw, it would have been nice at some, like, library would have been quite good here. There was just a piece of me that wanted to. There's also eventually a 3 pile, I guess, that we're gonna risk, but who cares? So, I don't think it's too much of a risk. They'll probably get province. Well, surely they'll get province here. We'll be pretty close to just a pile out, though. We may not even need to play the library. Okay, this should pile out. We're ahead by 2. So, yeah, again, if we don't have a nightmare shuffle, this is probably at least 2 turns, maybe 3 turns faster to a similar score, and that's going to be outscoring the bot by like 20 or something. We can also, I mean, if you're behind here, you just don't lower these quite so far, so the AI can't. Well, the AI had no extra gain, so they're still doing it 1 turn at a time, but maybe you don't lower these 2 piles quite so far, and you just switch to buying some grand markets, and you're scoring as much as the AI, even if you're just playing, I don't know, 7 of the monuments, you're scoring as much or more than the AI each turn, so you're making up points, and then you just build up economy until you do your quad province turn or something, and you just pass them there. So there are a lot of ways, as long as you're the only one really doing the alt VP, to maneuver around the AI being ahead in other kinds of points. I don't think the AI got that horde early, but I don't think beyond that, I don't think their shuffles were super great. But they also didn't really do much to improve their shuffles. You know, if you don't, there's chapel and you don't use it, then certainly there's a chapel opening into doing some horde stuff that goes through the provinces very, very quickly. And maybe is just better than doing mucking around with as much monument stuff as I did. Because there's definitely a world where you play lab, workers village, GM, horde stuff, and not mess with the monuments, and you just take the provinces very, very quickly. But anyway, that's not at all what the bot is playing there, so there's not a lot of pressure. So nice monument board. Like I said, I could have taken a library earlier as well, maybe instead of one of the labs, but I don't know. The draw was fine, and so that let me keep the balance of the actions to where I could gain and play a workshop each turn. So that's the main reason. There were a couple turns where it would have been okay deck composition wise to take a library, but action wise it was a little bit. I guess those are kind of the same thing. Anyway, action wise it didn't make sense. Yeah, so this is Chapel's really good even if you have extremely bad Chapel luck, as I did. And I think the only other, there is another opening that I could have done that I didn't mention, and I didn't really think about it. Now I'm thinking about it. Is you can open Workers Village Chapel, which is only good because there is a workshop. And so if you open with the 4-3 and you go Workers Village Chapel, you know your Chapel play. You're much less likely to have the Chapel miss the first reshuffle. It's only one card shot. And then the you probably hit 3 on the, you play the Chapel, you trash 4, and you probably hit 3 in the other hand. $3. Now you couldn't miss it, but you have a good shot of hitting 3 at the other hands, and then you buy the workshop, and you pretty much play, and then you just do what I did: trash, gain monuments, gain workers, villages, and do the thing. And it might be the better opening. It's definitely a little. It has less bad. The worst case scenarios for it are not as bad. The best case scenarios for it are not as good, because if you open Chapel Workshop and they don't collide, then you are probably a little faster. As long as you still play the Chapel in the first reshuffle, if they don't collide and you get to gain something with Workshop, the best case scenarios are better. But I think here there's a case to be made that if you're playing against the AI and they're not putting so much pressure on you, you're better off shoring up your worst case scenarios than you are playing for the best case scenarios, because you're not trying to beat a competitive opponent. You're just trying to avoid nightmare situations. So that's worth thinking about in the future. I'll try to remember that, because it would have been a little bit of a safer opening, and it still would have done very similar things in most cases. So, any case, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little base game. Had some pretty powerful stuff, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.